Hi everyone, welcome to EPA's 21st conference and exhibition. Naturally, I was planning to be with you all in Brussels rather than sitting here at home in Milos. However, the fates decided otherwise. To kick things off, Tom and Theo have given me the almost impossible task of encapsulating 3 years of intense, sometimes manic, activity in just 3 minutes. So no pressure. Fortunately, a large element of the conference has been conceived as a series of over 20 workshops running simultaneously in groups of 3 as a celebration of EPA's achievements and our work with our strategic partners. I urge you to participate in as many of them as you can. I'll leave it up to Tom and Theo to introduce the more traditional elements of our conference, including the ever-popular EPA Parking Awards, which this year had a record number of entries in the 8 categories. And of course, they'll also introduce the important message from the EU Commissioner for Sustainable Transport and Tourism and our keynote speech from the Belgian Minister of Defence. Looking back for a minute, in June 2022, I put forward a paper with proposals as to how EPA could transform itself from its traditional role, i.e. primarily a discussion forum, an international congress and events organiser, with a very limited annual budget of about 150,000 euros, into a well-funded advocacy and research organisation providing a strong and effective voice for the European parking sector. I was elected EPA President at the AGM in September 2022 with the mandate to implement this very ambitious programme and to transform EPA in line with my proposals. Now, as I've often said to my wife, it's quite easy to come up with good ideas. The really hard part is implementing them successfully. Sure enough, at the beginning of my first term as president, it was a struggle. To get things done, we needed to have money to be able to employ people to organise and do things. We did have some 150,000 euros of reserves from the old EPA, but we needed more, and more importantly, we needed to maintain an ongoing, sustainable revenue stream. We set ourselves the target of tripling our annual income within the first 12 months. To be honest, that was not an easy task. Getting the major operators and the national associations to agree to put more money into the new improved EPA was not simple. But in the end, you did all agree, and I thank you all for the trust you put in me and the EPA board and our team. I hope you will agree that we have delivered. The fact that we now have over 60 commercial members, in addition to our 20 National Association members, indicates we're doing something right. Over the past 3 years, our Treasurer and Co-Vice President, Michael Kessler, and several other board members have remarked to me on several occasions that our original list of 8 priority topics was too long, and we could not reasonably manage to deal with them all. That assessment was of course correct. It was not reasonable to try and do this. However, I'm proud to say we've managed to cover all but one of those priority topics, as well as a couple of other topics that came up along the way. At times it was a lot like the circus act, where the performer puts a plate spinning on a stick, then adds another plate on another stick, and then another, and then another, all the time keeping an eye on the row of spinning plates and giving each stick a twist when they need it. By the end, there are 8 or 10 plates spinning, and the performer is running from one end of the row to the other, keeping them spinning. That is essentially what Tom and his team, Theo, our subject matter experts, the board, our current President Emeritus and I have been doing. The spinning plates represent our different working groups and other activities, including the significant task of setting up EPA as an AISPL in Brussels, and perhaps the biggest plate of all, organising this conference. We've been doing a lot of running to keep those plates spinning. There are many people that deserve my thanks. However, I'm very conscious that most of you here today are not interested in hearing me cite a long list of folks that have contributed to EPA's success. Quite rightly, you want to get on with the show. So, I will simply say a heartfelt thank you to everyone who has contributed. You know who you are and what a difference you made. Please know that I personally value your contribution, whether it was money, time, experience, or simply invaluable criticism. The only exception I'll make is to thank my family, particularly my wife Jan, who has for the past 3 years been very much an EPA widow due to the long hours I've spent in front of a computer screen and online dealing with EPA business, in addition to my normal professional activities. So there you go. If all goes to plan, I look forward to seeing many of you in my new role as President Emeritus in April next year at the EPA Parking Day at Intertraffic. In the meantime, please do visit as many of the workshops as possible. Go and see what's new on the exhibition stands, network like crazy, enjoy the food and the company. In short, have a great show. I'll now hand you back to Tom and Theo.